I was kidnapped, and the abductor was terrifying. I adore men who don't take me seriously. I raised the ransom, ordered him to flee, then he snapped and pinned me down. Shut up or I'll kiss you. I'm Miranda Lynn, a city's top socialite. One moonless, windy night, my friends and I were having late-night snacks by the sea, and then I finally got kidnapped. I'd been waiting for this day for ages. They say being kidnapped is a symbol of status and wealth. In our circle of rich second-generation kids, who hasn't been kidnapped? The kidnapper was a young man with thick bangs and dyed green hair, his features obscured. In the night, only a high, straight nose and sharply defined lips were visible. He forced my friend and me onto a small fishing boat, accompanied by 2 henchmen. The boat was cramped, 5 people squeezed together amid the deafening roar of the engine and the pungent smell of fuel. My friend Rita and I were dragged aboard. It was a hot summer night, and we were both wearing thin dresses that clung damply to our skin. I saw one of them reach his hand toward Rita's leg. I flew into a rage, kicked off my high heels, and smashed the heel into his head. Are you blind? I'm way prettier than Rita. Why are you hitting on her and not me? My furious shout echoed through the silent night, startling everyone. The young leader glared fiercely at his subordinate. Behave yourselves. The cops could be nearby. Don't cause trouble. Max, I didn't mean to. This girl's crazy. Max shot me a cold look before shifting his seat to sit beside Rita and me, separating us from his 2 henchmen. I stared at his profile. The moonlight tonight was beautiful, spilling over the sea and across his high, straight nose. His eyes and brows were indistinct, but his jawline was sharply defined. Based on my years of nightlife experience, this guy couldn't be too ugly. I nudged his arm. Hey, if we're going to take someone later, you're on it. Ahem, startled by my words, Max choked on his drink and began coughing softly. You're insane. He shifted his buttocks, moving away from me as if to avoid suspicion, and even reached up to cover his collar. Was my appearance really so unappealing they wouldn't rape me? Turns out these kidnappers had professional ethics. The ransom they demand later might be astronomical. I started to get excited. The boat pulled up at a deserted island with a dilapidated shack. Rita and I crouched on the ground, hands clasped over our heads. Max pulled out a gun, its cold barrel pressed against my forehead. I looked up at him, full of anticipation. Call your dad. Tell him to get 5 million ready for the ransom. What? 5 million? I leaped up, shoving his gun away with my head, furious. 5 million? Who the hell do you think you're insulting? Did you even do your homework? Is that all the Lynn Group is worth? The kidnappers froze. Max bent down to pick up the gun and cautiously asked me. Then how much do you think is appropriate? 80 million. Take a penny less and I'll twist my own head off. My best friend Monica had been kidnapped once too. Back then, the kidnappers demanded 60 million. Humph, I absolutely couldn't settle for less than her. What? 80 million? The other 2 kidnappers sucked in their breath in unison, looking utterly shocked. I lifted my chin triumphantly. Give me the phone. I'm calling my dad right now. One of the kidnappers immediately handed over the phone, but Max stopped him. It's too late now. Call tomorrow. Are you out of your mind? His daughter's suffering here, and that old bastard Oscar gets to sleep soundly? I'm calling him now. Give me the phone. I glared, hands on hips, while the 2 kidnappers exchanged nervous glances. This, Max, who should we listen to? Call tomorrow. If he alerts the police now, the Coast Guard still hasn't withdrawn. It'll complicate things. Don't worry, my dad's a coward. He'd never call the cops. I patted my chest in assurance, but Max suddenly flew into a rage. His face cold, he strode up to me, grabbed my chin, and forced me to look up. Only then did I notice how tall he was. My neck ached from tilting my head back. Shut your mouth, each word was spoken with icy precision, as if he might strangle me at any moment. In the night air, the breeze ruffled the stray strands of hair at his forehead, revealing a pair of narrow, piercing eyes. What stirred? Oh, it was my heart. I've had everything I ever wanted in life, never tasted a shred of hardship. All I crave now is the bitterness of love. The colder and harsher a man is toward me, the more I like him, the more fired up I get, determined to have him. The last guy who treated me so coldly was that soldier, Stuart. But Stuart wasn't like him. His aloofness had a polite edge to it, always feeling like something was missing. Not like Max, so fierce. I love it. I swallowed hard. You're being mean to me? So what if I am? Max's hand tightened slightly on my chin, sliding up my neck. His palm was broad and rough, burning hot. He squeezed just enough to make me flinch, then released instantly. Don't fucking push your luck. TSK, that's the feeling I crave. I instantly became as docile as a lamb, nodding obediently. Ugh, I always listened to you. Max's hand twitched, and he instantly let go. He shot me a startled glance before the three of them stepped outside to discuss something. As they talked, it seemed they started arguing. Rita rushed over to steady me, her face filled with concern. Miranda, are you okay? I gripped her arm. Rita, my head hurts so much. Headache? What happened? Did he squeeze too hard? Take some deep breaths. Rita looked panicked. I shook my head. Hold me steady, my love brain is about to explode. Rita was speechless. After returning from their discussion, the kidnappers treated me much more politely, pulling bottled water from their bags for us to drink. The single-story house had 2 rooms separated by a half wall, no door installed. The 2 henchmen went to sleep in the next room, leaving Max to watch over us. Max leaned against the wall, eyes closed, resting. I walked over and sat beside him. This floor's too hard. Can I sleep leaning against you? Get lost. Stop it, I punched him playfully, then rested my chin on my hands and watched him. Max was speechless. He turned his head to look at me for a moment, then suddenly leaned in close. His lips brushed my ear as his voice dropped to a husky whisper. Missy, do you know how heavy 80 million is? 18,000 pounds, enough to fill this entire room. We can't possibly walk away with that much cash. Change it to 8 million tomorrow. Don't make things harder, got it? No way. At least 80 million. Anything less damages my reputation. 8 million? I couldn't bear such humiliation in my life. What's wrong with you? Max glared at me, holding back his anger. Are you changing it or not? He raised his hand, poised to strike me. I thrust my face forward excitedly. Go ahead, hit me. Max froze, then withdrew his hand in defeat after a moment. You're fucking insane. Max, what's up? The other 2 kidnappers woke up and came over to check. Max immediately shut up. Early the next morning, I saw the 3 of them arguing outside the door again. After a while, one skinny, monkey-like henchman made a phone call, and Max's expression changed instantly. He was restless all day. I snuck up to talk to him. When are you going to let me call my dad? Relax, you don't need to be so tense. My dad really won't call the cops. Max shot me a speechless look and pushed me away with disgust. Get lost. Leave me alone. Damn, that was just great. This godforsaken place was utterly desolate. Rita and I were cooped up inside all day with nothing to do. These 3 didn't seem like proper kidnappers, they still wouldn't let me call my dad. By nightfall, I dozed off leaning against Rita's leg when someone shook me awake. Wake up. More people are coming tomorrow. Things you'll get messy. You 2 leave tonight. Max hushed, gripping my arm as he stealthily guided Rita and me out the door. What, now they're fighting among themselves? Before I could process it, Rita's eyes lit up. You're undercover, right? Officer. Max neither confirmed nor denied it. He led us to the shore and pointed toward the distance. I've arranged for someone to pick you up, but the boat can't get too close, it'll make noise. You can swim, right? Head that way and swim a few hundred meters. What? He's just letting us go? This is too easy. Not thrilling enough. I felt a pang of reluctance. Rita grabbed my hand and pulled me toward the water. My foot hit something sharp, and I yelped in pain. Ah! Something stabbing me, Mom, there's a shark. Panicked, I hopped backward on one leg. Damn it! You go first. Max shoved Rita aside and rushed over to cover my mouth. Shut up. MMMPH. Let Rita come back. It's a shark, I kept screaming. Max lost his temper, one hand tightening around my neck as he dragged me toward shore, the other hand clamped over my mouth with such force it nearly choked me. Shark my ass. Not even a turtle would be in water this shallow, let alone a shark. I heard movement from the bungalow behind us, and my mind snapped clear. Shit. Max's accomplices couldn't find out he let us escape. I'd be killing him. Max tossed me onto the sand, grabbed his collar with both hands, and ripped his thin t-shirt to shreds. In the night light, his broad shoulders and narrow waist were defined by slightly bulging muscles, sculpted like a Greek statue. My eyes widened as I stared speechless at his 8-pack abs. Max grabbed my ankles and roughly dragged me beneath him, leaning down to pin me. You love screaming? Try a new scream. I lay on the beach, beneath me soft, damp sand, sticky and cold. Above me was hard, burning Max, every muscle taut and rigid, pressing into me so hard it hurt my bones. Damn, ice and fire all at once. My mind went blank as Max buried his face in the crook of my neck and bit down hard on my collarbone. Scream, now. Ah, it hurt like hell. I angrily reached up to pinch him, and Max let out a suggestive low moan that sounded especially tantalizing in the quiet night. My face flushed instantly. And I instantly understood Max's purpose. We wrestled for a moment, then I wrapped my arms around Max's neck and bit his ear. Keep being mean to me. Max, you're crazy. The anxious voices of those two henchmen echoed from behind. Max, still having fun? The other girl got away. Max looked up, his face flushing with irritation at the interruption. Two of you couldn't keep an eye on one girl? How did she get away? He stood up, shielding me behind him to block their view. Did you search the entire island? We did. We didn't find her. Max pulled me back into the room, assigning one of them to watch me while he took the other to search the entire island again. They returned looking thoroughly disheartened. Forget it, forget it. The Lin woman is the key. Let the other one go. There are no boats out here anyway. If she swims into the sea, she'll just feed the fish. With trouble brewing, neither of the two dared sleep, keeping watch over me until dawn. By sunset the next day, the sun hung precariously low on the horizon, bathing the sea in golden light. In the distance, a ship approached the shore. A bald middle-aged man, surrounded by dozens of people, made his way toward me with great fanfare. Miranda? A cigar dangled from his mouth as he shook my hand warmly. Hello, hello. Pleased to meet you. Let me introduce myself, I'm Derek Zhao. Just call me Derek. My face went pale. Derek, the most feared figure in the wealthy circles. A ruthless, untrustworthy kidnapper with a 70% kill rate. Being abducted by him was essentially a death sentence. The last person to survive his clutches was my best friend, Monica. Sweetie, give Daddy a call. Derek handed me a phone. I dialed my father's number as fast as I could. Dad, I've been kidnapped. Derek snatched the phone, smiling. Mr. Lin, prepare 500 million. I'll give you an overseas account number. 500 million? I froze. The Lin family wasn't exactly a top-tier corporation in the country. 500 million would drain nearly all their liquid assets. Have you been reading too many CEO romance novels? 500 million? Do you even know how much that is? I barely got the words out before Max suddenly stepped forward and slapped me hard across the face. Who gave you permission to speak? A red handprint stung my cheek as I stared blankly at him. That bastard, always so violent. And this slap was utterly unromantic. I was furious. Max, why so rough? A gentle reminder would suffice. Derek smiled, but his eyes were ice cold, like poison steel, sending shivers down my spine. Monica's words flashed through my mind, instantly calming me. He was Derek, no room for negotiation. From then on, I obeyed without question. Whatever he ordered, I did, not daring to utter a single word. My dad agreed to his demands. Overseas account transfers were complicated, so Derek's men set up a table with a laptop, constantly monitoring the accounts. It all felt like a cop movie. Max gave me a look, and in that instant, inspiration struck. Derek, I need to use the restroom. Derek waved me off. Max and another man stepped forward, following behind me. There was no bathroom in the cottage. With dozens of people crammed into 2 small rooms, I naturally had to go outside. I deliberately took a long, winding path, straying farther and farther away. This is close enough. Right here. Max's prompt made me halt instantly, eyeing them both warily. Don't you dare peek. The guy beside me snorted derisively, rolling his eyes. What are you thinking? You can't even think it. Thinking it's a crime. A rich, beautiful girl like me? You're way out of your league. The words barely left her mouth when everything blurred before my eyes. Max moved with lightning speed, knocking the other guy unconscious. He shoved me into a hole in the ground, its entrance concealed by bushes and rocks, completely invisible unless you looked closely. Whatever happens, don't come out. Max crouched at the entrance, leaning over me. The wind ruffled his messy bangs, revealing a pair of deep, mesmerizing eyes. I reached out, gripped his ankle, and asked tremulously, "Are you going to die?" He paused, then suddenly smiled. His lips curved, revealing a sharp fang, a mix of mischief and innocence. I'd never seen anyone smile so beautifully. He ruffled my hair. Everyone dies. His voice was light as a feather. I watched his back turn away, so calm and composed, as if heading to an ordinary date. In that second, I was lost. My upper body pushed through the hole, wrapping my arms around Max's thigh. We're all going to die anyway. Might as well have some fun? Max was speechless once more. Just kidding, haha. Kiss me before you go. I clung on stubbornly. Max sighed, pressed my head down, and shoved me back into the hole. Miranda, you're seriously messed up. Under the night sky, he leaned in close, his towering figure casting a deep shadow over me. Max's grip was strong, pressing against my forehead and pushing me deeper into the hole. Meeting you is the worst luck I've had in 8 lifetimes. I froze, about to retort, when suddenly his hand shifted, cupping the back of my head and forcing my chin up. A warm, soft touch graced my lips. Max's movements were a bit rough. The kiss, however, was exceptionally gentle. Light and shallow, like a March breeze, skimming the surface like a dragonfly, sending ripples spreading across the lake. My heart melted, my senses reeling. In that instant, I even thought of a nickname for our child. Don't come out if you don't want to die. Bushes blocked my view, plunging me into complete darkness. Soon after, I heard the roar of engines, chaotic shouts and curses, and the distant crack of gunfire. Damn it! Max got away with the guys. Chase him! I pressed my hand over my wildly pounding heart. Max, you can't die before I get you. I hid in the hole for what felt like an eternity. Outside, chaos reigned, chaos and the distant roar of helicopters. I hunched my shoulders, pressed my hands over my ears, and dared not move. Until my father's voice, raw and desperate, pierced the darkness. Miranda, Miranda, where are you? I frantically pushed aside the bushes, scrambled out of the hole, and stumbled toward my dad. After hiding in the cave too long, exhausted and starving, my nerves stretched taut, I fainted pathetically. When I woke up, I was lying in a hospital bed with an 4 drip in my arm. My father's eyes lit up. Miranda, you're finally awake? I sat up and clasped his hand. Dad, where's Max? Is Max okay? You know, the one with the blonde hair, pale skin, and that long fringe that couldn't hide his handsome face. My father pulled his hand away, displeased. Why didn't you ask about the 500 million? You wake up and ask about a man. Oh, what about the 500 million? My dad perked up. It never got transferred. The cops got a tip-off and moved in early with a big force. They even nabbed Derek. Ha 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 ha. What about my man? What man? I did hear an undercover cop died. Such a shame. I couldn't hear anything else Dad said. My ears were ringing. Max was dead? How could that be? I went to the police station and spent a lot of time and effort just to figure out one thing. It wasn't just Max who died. There was another undercover agent, an orphan with no family or friends. That's why the police held a secret memorial service for him. But Max? His parents and relatives were all alive. To protect his family from drug dealer retaliation, he couldn't even have his identity revealed after death. He was my hero, yet branded a criminal, dying alone in that desolate stretch of sea. I couldn't bear the blow, sinking into despair. I holed up at home for 3 months until my best friend Monica dragged me out of bed. Miranda, it's just a guy. Look at the state you're in. Come on, let's go to City B. There's a great new bar that just opened. Monica put me on her private jet, and we were in City A before I knew it. I was like a walking corpse, letting her do whatever she wanted with me. If she told me to drink, I drank. If she told me to roll the dice, I rolled the dice. Monica watched me with a sigh. I've never seen you like this before. Do you like him that much? I shook my head. It's not liking. It's love, Monica. My heart is dead. Monica shoved a young man beside her toward me. You wanted his body? Here, he's yours. The young man was Hector, Monica's sugar baby for 3 years, a stunning specimen in both looks and physique. I'd known him before Monica did, yet he'd always been cold toward me. Monica had mocked me back then. Miranda, you're crazy. You can buy a toy boy like that with cash. I didn't believe it. Hector had an aloof aura. He couldn't possibly be that kind of vulgar, materialistic man. Monica and I made a bet to see who could win Hector over first. The very next day, Monica appeared before me, her arm wrapped around his. Hector raised an eyebrow, looking at Monica with a pout. Sis, I'm all yours. Humph. Just another cheap, common woman. Boring. I pushed Hector away and headed for the restroom, only to be surrounded by a group of rowdy men. Get lost! I snapped. Then, in a flash, Monica charged forward, kicking one of them flying. Monica started fighting them, chaos erupting everywhere. When I finally came to my senses, we were sitting in the police station. Staring at the officer taking our statements, I felt utterly drunk. Max? After 3 months apart, Max looked even more handsome. His hair was dyed black again, and the thick bangs were gone. His sharp features and striking looks were impossible to hide. Who's Max? Ms. Miranda, please sign here. Max gave me a distant glance, as if he didn't recognize me. That familiar voice was still so magnetic. Huh, playing this game with me? I stood up and threw myself into his arms. Husband, Ms. Lin, please control yourself. Max pushed me away, frowning with a hint of resignation. Keep this up and I'll charge you with assaulting an officer. Ahem, Miranda, this is embarrassing. Why do you always act like this when you drink? Grabbing some handsome guy and calling him honey. Monica grabbed my arm and dragged me toward the exit. Just as we took a few steps, a cold voice suddenly echoed from behind. Calling everyone honey? Humph, Ms. Lin sure is generous with her affection. I turned to see Max's face tense, a flash of anger clearly flickering in his eyes, though his expression remained impassive. My mind went blank. Was he jealous? Before leaving, I glanced at the bulletin board in the hallway. His current name was Marvin. I began asking everyone I knew about this name. Marvin, from City A, had just graduated this year with a master's in police studies. Clean record, only 24 years old age-wise, he didn't match up with Max either. I snuck over to his place. In a rundown neighborhood, Marvin's father sat at the alley entrance playing chess with someone. Old neighbors passing by would occasionally mention Marvin, showering him with praise. Your son's got a great chance at finding a wife. He's so handsome, girls will be fighting over him. He just graduated. It's still early. Early? What do you mean early? This young age is perfect. Let me tell you, what's trending now are puppies and wolf cubs. Your Marvin has a good job and looks great. When he finds one of those rich, beautiful girls, he'll have nothing to worry about. I was tempted to step forward, rich, beautiful girl, right here. But I paused, hesitation washing over me. Marvin sounded local. His identity didn't match Max, the undercover guy from before. If they weren't the same person, how awkward would that be? I paced the alleyway, torn, drawing the attention of a group of elderly folks. Young lady, who are you looking for? Marvin's father approached with eager anticipation. Young lady, are you here to rent a place? Rent a place? I nodded immediately. Yes, I'm here to rent a place. That's wonderful. We happen to have an attic room available. Would you like to take a look? Never in a million years did I imagine I'd stoop this low for a man. Such a tiny attic, without even a bathroom. A stiff smile froze on my face. Uncle, the place looks nice, but where's the bathroom? The bathroom's on the 3rd floor. Only my son lives up there. Don't worry, he sometimes stays at work overnight and doesn't come home, so it won't bother you. My son's a police officer, very upright. Living with a cop gives you a real sense of security, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, heavens help me. I promptly paid a year's rent. Marvin's dad took my ID to get copies, saying I could move in any time. What could I possibly move into such a tiny space? Still, to make it more comfortable, I had furniture and appliances delivered, completely transforming the place. During the move, Max's mom watched nearby. Seeing the room filled with expensive items, the smile on her face gradually stiffened. Young lady, if I may ask, what do you do for a living? That rug looks incredibly expensive, and this sofa can't be cheap either? Her eyes held scrutiny, suspicion, and a hint of disdain. I instantly realized, was she mistaking me for someone unscrupulous? I immediately took her hand and explained, presenting myself as a successful, self-made career woman who'd worked hard for years to buy a house in the new neighborhood across the street, waiting for the keys. Sure enough, Max's mom instantly broke into a bright smile. My, so capable at such a young age. Over the next few days, I pretended to go to work during the day. Actually, I was sneaking to the police station to spy on Marvin. At night, I returned to his place, crept up to the 3rd floor when all was quiet, and rummaged through his belongings. I didn't believe anyone could completely become someone else. As long as he was Marvin, there had to be traces in his daily life. Holding my flashlight, I was flipping through photo albums in his room when sudden creaking footsteps echoed up the stairs. Marvin's stairs were old wooden ones that echoed loudly with every step. Panic seized me, and I darted around his room like a headless fly. I tried to hide under the bed, but his was a low frame with barely enough space to fit my hand underneath. Opening the wardrobe, I found it packed full. At a complete loss, I turned off the flashlight, pulled back the covers, and lay down on the bed. I heard the door open. Marvin kicked off his slippers, shed his clothes, and then the mattress beside me dipped slightly as a warm body slid in beside me. I held my breath instantly, but it was too late. Marvin reacted with lightning speed. He sprang up, pinned me down with the quilt, and drove his knee into my back. I screamed in pain. Ow, that hurts, Marvin, let me go. Miranda? You're crazy. What are you doing here? That exact same tone. My eyes stung instantly. He was Max, no matter how many times he changed his name, he was still Max. Marvin released me. I sat up, glaring at him with hurt. So it was you. Why did you pretend not to know me? Marvin's expression changed instantly. His face turned cold, adopting a strictly professional demeanor. Ms. Lin, please explain why you were in my room. Your parents rented the place to me. Marvin's eyes widened in disbelief. They rented out my room? I'd intended to explain, but seeing Marvin's misunderstanding about his parents, I quickly brushed it off with a few casual words. You don't have anywhere else to stay anyway. You can stay here tonight. As I spoke, my gaze remained fixed on him. It was already autumn, yet Marvin still wore only a simple tank top. His muscles were taut beneath the thin fabric, his broad shoulders and narrow waist accentuated, 8-pack abs faintly visible. Max snorted coldly, clutching the pillow to his chest. No thanks. I'll sleep in the duty room. His face was stony, an aloof coldness radiating from him. His sharp eyebrows arched, his chin lifted, arrogant and cocky. Instantly, it ignited my desire to conquer him. I swiftly shed my robe, revealing the sheer silk spaghetti-strap nightdress beneath, then lunged forward to wrap my arms around his. You can leave if you want, but kiss me first. A dim downlight illuminated us from above, bathing us in a hazy halo. I looked up at Max, clinging tightly to his arm. Only a layer of sheer fabric separated us. I couldn't believe he felt nothing. Sure enough, Marvin's eyes darkened instantly. His throat worked with effort as he tore his gaze away from my chest. Let go. I won't. If you don't kiss me, I'll scream and shout that you molested me. With us dressed like this, you'd have a hard time explaining it to your parents, wouldn't you? Just one kiss. One kiss, and I'll let you go right away. My mix of threats and promises finally swayed Marvin. Miranda, close your eyes. I think Marvin was nearly driven mad. How could such a man exist in this world? A godlike figure appearing in your life, willing to sacrifice his own life to save you, only to vanish suddenly without a trace. Those 3 months without him felt like living in hell. I'd made up my mind, if he felt even a shred of affection for me, I'd walk the rest of the path, whether 99 steps or 999, on my own. Provided he felt even a tiny bit for me. I clenched my palms tightly, closed my eyes, and waited for Marvin's kiss to fall, and for fate's judgment. I waited a long time, tilting my head back until my neck ached, but Marvin didn't kiss me. My heart fell into a deathly silence. I opened my eyes to meet his gaze. Unexpectedly, he wasn't as composed as I'd imagined. Despite the early autumn chill and our light clothing, beads of sweat glistened on his forehead. His fists clenched, his dark pupils filled with inner turmoil. I froze. The heart that had just frozen solid suddenly thawed. Suppressing a flicker of hope and disbelief, I crossed my arms defiantly and raised an eyebrow at him. What? Afraid to kiss me? Worried you won't be able to control yourself? Marvin, admit it, you clearly like me a lot. Marvin leaned in and kissed me. They say there are 3 things you can't hide: a cough, poverty, and the heart's love for someone. Marvin's kiss wasn't the gentle one from last time. It carried a hint of longing and greed, a reckless abandonment of all caution. Seemed like he liked me more than I thought. Satisfied, I wrapped my arms around his neck and surrendered to him. No wonder he was an undercover agent, his willpower was astonishing. After a lingering kiss, Marvin actually pulled away at the crucial moment. I'll sleep in the loft. He fumbled awkwardly with his clothes, covering certain traces, nearly bolting out the door. Wait, the loft? Damn it, he's about to blow my cover. I followed immediately. Max stood at the loft door, his gaze complex as he surveyed the expensive Italian handmade carpet and the $100,000 designer bedding inside. You rented the attic? Oh, really? Haha, looks like I came to the wrong place. I started playing dumb. Marvin glared at me angrily and turned to go downstairs. I danced around in circles in the room. Little jerk, what are you pretending? Who was practically trying to rip my clothes off just now? The next day, Marvin went back to work, and I stayed at his place, starting to win over his parents. Every day, I watered flowers with his mom and played chess with his dad. Both terrible players, perfectly matched opponents. Auntie, you like gardening? I've killed so many plants at work. Could you help me take care of them? Marvin's mom nodded, then stared dumbfounded at the yard piled high with expensive flower varieties. I found every excuse to bring nice things to Marvin's house. Over time, the look in Marvin's mom's eyes toward me completely changed. Miranda, do you have a boyfriend? No. Oh my. What a coincidence, my son doesn't have a girlfriend either. He's coming home for dinner today. Why don't you join us? You young people could become friends. Let me tell you, my son is blah blah blah. Marvin's mom linked her arm through mine and chattered on endlessly about all his accomplishments. When she mentioned how grueling his police academy training was, 3 years without coming home, it dawned on me, could Marvin have gone undercover during that time? I eagerly followed her into the kitchen to help, lavishing praise on her cooking skills with sky-high compliments. By the time Marvin came home, his mom and I were practically mother and daughter. Marvin, try this, Miranda made it herself. My, young lady, you're quite the talent. Good job, earns well, and cooks like a pro. Wonder who'll be lucky enough to marry her someday. Max picked up a piece of sweet and sour pork with his chopsticks, glancing at me indifferently. Mom, I can tell this is your cooking. Ahem, well, Miranda personally took these ribs out of the fridge, so it's practically the same as her cooking them. Marvin's mom went on and on with her praise, regardless of the details. After dinner, Marvin pulled me upstairs. He closed the door and pinned me against it. I immediately wrapped my arms around his neck, standing on tiptoes to kiss him. Marvin turned his head away, pressing his hand against my forehead. Miranda, you're moving out of my house immediately. Why? I paid a year's rent. I'll refund you double the rent. Just move out. He turned on me like that. I was genuinely upset. You clearly like me. Why do you keep treating me like this? I don't like you. Marvin looked down at me, speaking slowly, his tone cold and unwavering. I don't like you. If I gave you any wrong impression before, I apologize. But now, please move out immediately. Your presence here is disrupting my life. I glared at him defiantly. I don't believe you. Prove it to me. Marvin froze. How do you prove you don't like someone? No proof means you do like me. I'm not moving. I reached out and wrapped my arms around his waist. Marvin shoved me away, his patience wearing thin. Miranda, have some dignity. Are you leaving or not? He sounded so fierce, it only fueled me more. Then hit me. Hit me and I'll know you don't like me. Marvin froze for a second, then raised his hand high. You really won't move? I won't. He grabbed my neck, his eyes fierce but his grip light. I'm really going to hit you. I got even more excited. Go ahead, hit me. If you don't, you're not a man. Smack. A loud slap, but not on my face. Before I could react, Marvin twisted my arm, spinning me to face away from him. Then came a flurry of slaps. My face burned crimson, my voice a whisper, my eyes glassy. So this is what you like? I can play along. Marvin pulled his hand back, gave me an incredulous look, and bolted like he was escaping. Psycho! Ha, coward. I still stayed at Marvin's place, harassing him every other day. Monica couldn't stand it anymore and gave me a good scolding. What kind of masochistic streak is this? Why are you so eager to be a bootlicker? I nodded, looking thoroughly delighted. You don't understand the joy of being a bootlicker. All my life, men have been at my beck and call. I couldn't stand it anymore. I love it when guys ignore me. The more they do, the more real they feel, unaffected by my family's wealth or status. When he finally accepts me completely, that'll prove he truly likes me for who I am, you know? Bullshit logic, and you spout it so smoothly. Monica rolled her eyes in disgust and tossed me an invitation. Come to my engagement party tomorrow. I was stunned. Engagement? What about your little puppy dog? What does he have to do with it? Monica stood up with a flourish. Come drink with me at the bar. Monica and I stayed at the bar until late. The driver dropped me off at the alley entrance. I waved him off and turned to walk alone. After walking a while, something felt increasingly off. The dim streetlight stretched my shadow long and thin. My high heels clicked sharply on the cobblestones, echoing through the deep alleyway. Beyond that, there was no sound. Yet I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching me from the darkness behind. I froze, whipping my head around. A dark figure darted into the alley beside me. I took a deep breath and turned to run. I sprinted all the way to Marvin's house, my heart pounding. Trembling, I fumbled for my keys and unlocked the door. No one was chasing me, but I was still terrified. That kidnapping incident, though I'd kept my cool on the surface, had left me with lasting psychological scars. I couldn't bear to imagine what might have happened if Marvin hadn't been there last time. For the next few days, I stayed put, not daring to go out after dark. Another weekend rolled around. Marvin's parents were visiting relatives in the countryside, leaving me alone at home. I locked all the doors and windows, still terrified. The more I thought about it, the more scared I got. After showering, I called Monica, planning to ask her to send someone to pick me up and take me to her place. I called repeatedly, but no one answered. I couldn't bear staying in my room. After hesitating, I took my phone and went to Marvin's room. His wardrobe had been tidied recently, his uniform hanging inside. The scent lingering on his bedding gave me an unexpected sense of security. I drifted off, half asleep, when suddenly I heard footsteps on the stairs. Marvin said he was on duty and wouldn't be back tonight. So who was this? Terrified, I scrambled out of bed and hid inside his wardrobe. Just as I pulled the door shut, the handle turned and someone entered the room. My heart leapt into my throat. The person paced around, then I heard a phone ring. He answered it. Hello. It was Marvin's voice. I exhaled in relief, leaning against the wardrobe, finally daring to breathe. Marvin put it on speaker. A clear male voice came through. Still up? Marvin, yeah, just got back from late-night snacks with some coworkers. About to shower. His tone was different from usual, slurred and noticeably sloshed. Showering alone? A strange chuckle followed, then Marvin snorted impatiently. Eddie, you idiot. The man on the other end, Eddie, pressed, not with that girl? My alertness shot up. Who was this girl? Did Marvin have another woman? No offense, but you're being way too cautious. B-City and a city? That's a world apart. Plus, they've already announced your death to the outside world. Your age and name were all fake before. I tell you, the organization protects you so well, yet you're too scared to even date. You're such a wimp. Marvin, what do you know? You know how ruthless those people are. Just in case, I have to cut off contact with everyone I dealt with during my undercover work. It's for the best for everyone. Eddie, TSK, so ruthless. Don't come crying to me next time you're drunk. He finished, then adopted a falsetto voice. Miranda, I really like you. Could you please stay away from me? Do you have any idea how hard I'm holding back? Marvin, embarrassed and angry, hung up the phone. Crazy guy. Bad choice in friends. I sat dumbstruck in the closet, a smile curling my lips as the sun shone beside me. Marvin likes me? He rejected me to protect me? Holy crap, Marvin likes me. My heart bubbled with joy. All I could picture was Marvin's face, that feigned indifference, that impatience. No wonder he'd rejected me yet never fully closed the door, always leaving a sliver of hope, half reluctant, half inviting. Was that what he meant when he said I was holding back so hard? How hard was I really holding back? I was secretly thrilled, lost in endless fantasies, until Marvin finished showering and I still hadn't emerged from the closet. Then, I heard the closet door slide open, a beam of light flooding inside. I looked up. Marvin stood with one hand on the wardrobe door, a towel wrapped around his waist. His striking 8-pack abs burst into my vision. His wet black hair still dripped water. His eyes lacked their usual sharpness, as if veiled in mist. Marvin propped himself on the doorframe with one hand, raising an eyebrow at me. His expression was unexpectedly calm. Miranda, why are you everywhere? Marvin gave a self-deprecating chuckle, bent down to grab my arm, and effortlessly pulled me out of the closet. He carried a pleasant, fresh lemon scent, mixed with a faint whiff of alcohol, clearly quite drunk. Miranda, can you just disappear from my sight? Marvin pinned me against the wardrobe door, his thumb and index finger tracing circles on my chin, sending a teasing tingle through me. Miranda, don't show up in front of me, and don't live in my house. Why don't you just go back to your city, eh? I stared straight into his eyes, grinning like a mouse that had fallen into a rice bin. Marvin, why chase me away? Isn't it nice having me by your side? As I spoke, I slipped my arms around his waist, resting my hands on his abs. No, Marvin leaned in close, his eyes deep and slightly unfocused, hiding emotions I couldn't decipher. Miranda, don't provoke me. I was confused. How am I provoking you? He was too close. Water droplets from his hair trickled down my neck into my robe, leaving a wet trail. The silk nightgown instantly clung to my skin. The air around us seemed to slow. I swallowed hard, my heart racing uncontrollably. Your very presence is a challenge to my willpower. Marvin's voice was hoarse. His hand, resting on my chin, slid down my neck, lingering at my collarbone. You're right in front of me, stimulating my adrenaline every second, making my actions increasingly uncontrollable. Damn, that's seductive. My face flushed bright red. It felt like electricity was coursing through my body, my heart racing uncontrollably. What happens when you lose control? Like this, Marvin leaned down and kissed me. Everything unfolded naturally. The next morning, I lay sprawled across Marvin's chest. He held me close around the waist as we remained tangled in our sleep. Marvin's mother's voice echoed outside the door. Marvin, where did Miranda go so early this morning? I went to call her for breakfast and she wasn't there. She was home last night, right? Give her a call and check on her. She's such a good girl. Not that I'm saying this as her mom, but you know you should seize the opportunity, right? Miranda? Marvin's mom let out a startled gasp, frantically covering her face with her hands. Oh dear, I didn't see anything. Carry on, carry on. She scrambled out the door, slamming it shut with a bang. Marvin and I snapped back to full awareness. We exchanged a stunned look. Marvin cleared his throat awkwardly and looked away. I got drunk last night. I shot him a sharp glare. What do you mean? Don't try to dodge responsibility. Marvin froze for a moment before suddenly chuckling softly. When you're drunk, you naturally don't remember anything. What's there to own up to? I was dumbfounded. I calculated everything, but never expected Marvin to be such a scumbag. Maybe my stunned expression looked silly, because Marvin just laughed harder. In a cheerful mood, he got up, dressed, and went to the bathroom to wash up without a second glance at me. I stormed upstairs to change, boiling with rage. Over the next few days, Marvin carried on as usual, going to work, then pulling a 3-day shift straight. I didn't get a single chance to see him. Marvin's parents were warm toward me. His mom took my hand and gently asked when we could arrange a meeting between both sets of parents. I didn't even listen to what she said, just nodded and agreed. On the 4th night, Marvin finally returned. I stood with a stern face, blocking him at the bedroom door. "Marvin, what the hell do you think you're doing?" Still in his uniform, he raised an eyebrow at me, his attitude shifting back to that cocky, roguelike vibe from his undercover days. "What's the problem? After what happened that night, what exactly is our relationship now? Don't you owe me an explanation?" Marvin pursed his lips, leaning closer to me. "What did we do? I don't remember anything." "Unbelievable. How dare he?" Furious, I dragged him to the wardrobe. "You kissed me right here. You don't remember that either?" "I kissed you? How did I kiss you?" Marvin leaned closer, and I hooked my arm around his neck. Right here, mid-sentence, I met his smiling eyes and realized what was happening. I shoved him hard. "Great. You're messing with me." Marvin chuckled softly, wrapping his arm around my waist. "Miranda, dare you hide in my closet again? Or eavesdrop on my calls?" I lifted my chin defiantly. "I'll hide again. Scare the crap out of you. What are you gonna do about it?" Marvin pulled his arm tighter around my waist. "One more time trespassing, and I'll arrest you." He leaned down and kissed me. "That day doesn't count. I'll only admit to it when I'm sober." Later, the person who followed me that day was caught too. Just a petty thief who saw my fancy clothes and thought I lived in luxury, planning to rob my house. Not the kidnappers I'd imagined. With that weight off my shoulders, Marvin and I rushed through the wedding preparations. I called Rita triumphantly. "Hey, did you marry Stuart yet?" "Rita, not yet. The wedding's in 2 months." "Why?" "Ha ha ha ha, I won. I'm getting married this month. You and Stuart are coming to the wedding, no backing out." Rita's resigned tone came through. "Do we have to compete over this too? Miranda, aren't you moving a bit too fast?" "Fast? I wish it were slower." After hanging up, Marvin squinted at me from the side. "That name, Stuart, sounds familiar." "Oh, an ex-boyfriend. He's quite handsome. I'll introduce you." Marvin's face darkened instantly. "Miranda, are you feeling frisky?" So fierce, that's exactly the feeling I crave. My heart blossomed. "Yep. Want to beat me up?" Marvin leaned down and bit my ear. "Just wait. See how I'll deal with you later." At the wedding, I took Marvin from table to table toasting guests. When we reached Rita and Stuart's table, Marvin glanced at the drink in his glass and tugged at his tie. "You're drinking that?" "I am, after all, Rita's savior. It wouldn't be right not to have a drink, would it?" Stuart paused, setting down his glass. "Sorry, I drove here today. Can't drink." "Then don't go back. Stay at the hotel tonight." Stuart nodded decisively. "All right. Thanks for helping Rita back then. I'll toast you 3 times first." The two of them drank glass after glass. Monica pulled me aside. "Has your Marvin lost his mind? Never seen a groom actively challenging someone to a drinking contest." My shoulders shook with laughter. That fool Marvin was jealous out of his mind. Forget about him. By the time most guests had left, the two were still drinking. Marvin was already slurring his words from drunkenness. He slapped Stuart on the shoulder. "Stuart, you're a good guy. Just a bit picky with your taste." His meaning was clear, Stuart had no taste for breaking up with me. Unfortunately, Stuart clearly misunderstood. He glanced at Rita beside him, and a flash of anger crossed his face. "Sorry, I don't see it that way. Marvin, Miranda is the most fun and best girl in the world. Stuart, Rita is. Marvin, Miranda is. Stuart, Rita is. Monica, you two are nuts. They were about to come to blows. Watching Stuart get the short end of the stick, I laughed until I was doubled over. Miranda, you're something else. Can't get the girl, so you make your husband take it out on him? Never seen anything like it. This is your own wedding, don't let them actually fight. Monica rolled her eyes, shoved me, and told me to break it up. Rita and I grabbed one each and dragged them toward the door. The two drunks kept babbling, arguing whose sweetheart was the best. Rita and I shared a knowing smile. How fortunate it is to meet someone who sees you as one of a kind.